Welcome back to the Mad Spiderverse. I'm Mad Spidey. Thank you once again for tuning into my channel. So I thought I would left it a little bit late, but it's still January, so still first month of the year. I thought I would actually do my 2025 collecting goals. So I haven't really done them every year. I know I focused on it a lot last year, but I didn't really do any too much in the previous years on my channel. So I thought, yeah, try and keep this as an ongoing tradition. So for my 2025 goals, they're going to be some from last year, because obviously I knocked off some books and some runs and things like that, but I didn't actually get to all of them, unfortunately. And if you've watched my channel before, or if you've watched any Aussie channels before, and you know that collecting over here is quite a lot harder than it is over in other parts of the world, especially the US and Canada, obviously due to, you know, lack of variety or lack of supply. It's like, obviously, you know, you can buy stuff from overseas, but you know, you're paying, like, obviously got to worry about currency conversion and shipping and obviously all the usual sort of things, and obviously it's a little bit more of a risk, obviously being in a totally different country as well. So, you know, because obviously you could do it, you know, you could pay for it, not get your money back, or anyway, we won't get into that part of it. So yeah, so 2025 collecting goals. Had a few, like, you know, a few chats with some of the community members and some other friends who are collectors and things like that over the last couple of months. And they were all like, why don't you just focus just on like one big book and then just make that your goal? And I'm like, you've heard me say before that being over here, you have to be an opportunistic buyer. So opportunistic buyer pretty much means, obviously, if it's something that you do want, and you do have the money, it's obviously money plus opportunity comes together, and you know, you get something that you want. Obviously, if you're waiting for something, you know, one particular item or two particular items, they may never turn up. So, and that's what a lot of my deals tend to happen. Is it's it's generally opportunistic. Obviously, like I said, last year I had that big deal of 60 to 70 books or 80 books, whatever it was, and it had Fantastic Four 48 and 49 in it, which was one of my goals for last year, plus some other books obviously that I wanted. So that sort of worked out in that aspect. Obviously my Marvel Spotlight 5 was like right at the 11th hour, at, like, you know, almost the stroke of midnight, that book, I actually, like, that deal fell into place. So that, yeah, that was quite a shock that actually came to fruition. But yeah, that was fantastic that literally just, you know, tied a big bow on the year in my collecting year. So before this video goes for a ridiculous amount of time, my first book, this is probably the main book that I'm going to be hunting. Obviously, if you know me, you know my channel, you know what I'm collecting. Going after the whole entire ASM run from 1 to current, all volumes and all annuals. I'm only 2 books away from that target. Obviously, number 1, unless I win some money, or if the actual, you know, if the market crashes into the toilet and even further down, I don't see that as a possibility. Like, I never say never, but we'll slate that for the moment. So I'm going to be going for ASM number 3, so first appearance of Dr. Octopus. I think that is a little bit more of an achievable book now than what it has been in the last sort of 12 to 18 months, maybe even 2 years, and obviously since the pandemic as well. So I did have one opportunity, but didn't have the money, and yeah, so things didn't come to fruition, unfortunately. So yeah, so definitely that will be the number 1 book that I will be hunting this year. I do have a little bit of a plan, whether it will works out or not, but you know, there's people involved and other countries involved, and somebody suggested this plan to me, and I think it's a great plan to go by. It is probably my greatest chance of getting it. But as I said, it's got to do with, can I save the money? Does the opportunity present itself? I will need help from people. So whether it happens or not is another thing. But yeah, that will be the main book that I'll be definitely going after this year, just so I can literally say I only need number 1. So obviously last year I wanted to knock off one of the books. I picked up number 4. This year I want to knock off one more book. So speaking of Marvel Spotlight 5, as I said, I was going to make like maybe one book and maybe some of the runs, but I'll put a couple of books on there just in case, obviously, the ASM 3 doesn't come to fruition. The other book, obviously, as I said, Marvel Spotlight 5, I was able to knock off right at the 11th hour last year, so I'd love to get Ghost Rider 1. Ghost Rider 1 is another book. I am a big fan of Ghost Rider. I do need to focus on some of the runs. I have a lot of the Volume 2 run, the Danny Ketch run, but I don't have many of the Volume 1 run, including number 1. So that is definitely a book that I'll be hunting this year, and hopefully I can get that, low grade, better than no grade, and at a reasonable price, because it's a book that's not necessarily that cheap either. So hopefully I can pick that up as well. The other book that I'm going to be chasing, like I'll chase a lot of books this year, but these are obviously the main ones. The other book I'd absolutely love to pick up this year would be Silver Surfer number 1. Now, Silver Surfer number 1, I don't think I've seen that for sale over here in probably 10 or more years. It's just not a book that's very common over here, so that may be a, once again, opportunity, plus people helping, plus, prayers being answered. I don't know. I honestly think I have more chance of picking up an ASM 3 than I do a Silver Surfer 1. Not because of price, because Silver Surfer 1 should, in theory, be cheaper book. But it's just the rarity of it. Like, I assume over in the States and Canada and things like that, it's not as a rare a book, but over here it's literally a ghost book. So, but I'll be hunting it all the same. So they're the 3 main individual books that I'll be hunting this year. The other thing that I want to do, like last year, I wanted to finish my Invaders run, my Tomb of Dracula run, my Werewolf by Night run, and possibly my Defenders run. Obviously, the Invaders run is the only thing that I was successful at completing the entire run. So I'm going to go back to, once again, last year's things, and I want to finish my Tomb of Dracula run, which I believe is like under 5 books left. That's including the king size, the annuals, things like that as well. My Werewolf by Night run is a little less worse off, or should I say a little more worse off. It's about 10 books, I think it is, including the king size and the annuals, or the giant size, should I say. So still an achievable thing, obviously, if I can come across them. I may have to hit eBay or something like that, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to finish those 2 runs off, so I can cross them off the checklist as done. The other 2 runs that I'm going to be, and I'll say this, I'll passively be trying to go after them this year. So I'll go hard on the Werewolf and the Tomb of Dracula, but I'll definitely be going passively after, once again, the Defenders run. But I need something like 60 books or 70 books or something like that. I need like just over half the run. Just under half the run. So that's going to be a big task. But at least if I can knock off, a decent percentage, I'll be happy with that. The other one is my Submariner run. I did mention a little bit last year that I'd realised I'd amassed quite a lot of the original Silver Age to Bronze Age Submariner run. So I'd really love to be able to, possibly complete it, or at least, as I said, knock a lot of the numbers off so it's a little bit, closer to achievement. Yeah. So that will do for my collecting goals. Obviously, as I said, there are plenty of other books that I want. I want a Silver Surfer 4. I want a Iron Man 55, a GSX 1. I want a, I want a lot of books, but you know, I'll focus on the 3 main ones that I just mentioned, plus those runs, and then whatever else happens, I can just knock them off the checklist as well, off the comic wish list, if that happens. So that'll do for this particular video. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, good luck to me, I suppose. Yeah, we'll see what happens this year. I want to try and obviously, sorry, I should have mentioned personal goals, YouTube goals. A lot of people are pushing me to try and get to 1K this year. To be perfectly honest, without a giveaway, because I think the giveaways are generally the things that sort of push my channel up. I may or may not do one this year. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I'm close to 800. I see it. I'll do small goals. So I'm about 30, 35, 40 something away from 800. So I'm just going to focus on getting to 800 subs first, and then obviously on to 900, so on and so forth. So that's for the thing. I want to try and do a little bit of slightly different content. Obviously, you've noticed I've dipped my toe into the card scene, so stuff like that. Just show slightly different things. I may or may not do some other stuff, but only time will tell. So that's it. And I want to try and get back to doing regular conventions, not going too hard. Not going too hard at the conventions where, you know, I scrape together whatever spare money I have and then blow the whole lot at the conventions. Just sort of going back and just picking up little bits and pieces, and trying to limit myself so I can actually try and save some money for some bigger goals that I have. So yeah, 800 subs, a little bit more convention, so a bit more convention videos and footage, and then obviously Submariner run, Defenders run, Werewolf by Night run, Tomb of Dracula run, and then the 3 main books: Silver Surfer 1, Ghost Rider 1, and the bigger one, ASM 3, Amazing Spider-Man 3. So only time will tell, and only the year will tell. So let's see if opportunity, money, and timing all come together, and see how I go. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do all the usual YouTube stuff. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Leave a comment if you want to, and please hit that subscribe button. But anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.